Roddy McDowall was more than a child star who grew up gracefully in Hollywood. He was a silent witness to an era few dared to document. Behind the glamour of the 1960s, he captured what studios and gossip columns never could: the hidden struggles, private moments, and unspoken truths of the industry's brightest stars. From Elizabeth Taylor's vulnerabilities to the pressures that haunted Rock Hudson, McDowall preserved a history that the public never saw. Yet much of his life remained hidden, his loyalty and discretion protecting the secrets of those he loved while carrying the weight of his own private battles. This is a story of brilliance, loyalty, and tragedy, told through the eyes of a man who saw it all and never looked away. Early life and rise to stardom. Roddy McDowall was born Roderick Andrew Anthony Jude on September 17, 1928, in London, England, into a family shaped by ambition and circumstance. His mother, Wilfred, had dreamed of being an actress, but never reached the stage she longed for, so she poured her hopes into young Roddy. By the age of 4, he had already won a poetry contest, and by 5, he was attending elocution classes designed to cultivate precision, expression, and stage presence. His sister, Virginia, also shared the family's dramatic inclinations, and together they dominated the awards at Hanover Academy, marking themselves as prodigies in a city soon to be shadowed by war. When the Second World War escalated in 1940, the McDowall family joined the massive evacuation efforts under Operation Pied Piper, leaving Britain with only $42 to reach safety in the United States. Their father had joined the military, leaving Wilfred to navigate a new country and provide for her children. She took Roddy to talent agencies across New York, a relentless pursuit that finally caught the attention of Hollywood scouts seeking a young British actor with both talent and the accent that suggested refinement and intelligence. At age 12, Roddy made his American film debut in Manhunt, portraying a boy aiding someone's escape from Nazi-occupied territory, a role that resonated deeply with his own life experiences. That same year, he appeared in How Green Was My Valley, a performance that helped the film secure the Academy Award for Best Picture in 1942. By his mid-teens, Roddy was already earning thousands per week, taking on intense filming schedules that allowed little room for childhood, yet he maintained an astonishing professionalism and discipline. The early success came at a personal cost. The pressures of fame, homesickness, and the responsibility of being the family's primary provider weighed heavily on him. Yet, even amidst the upheaval of wartime displacement and relentless work, Roddy's remarkable ability to transform personal hardship into compelling performances laid the foundation for a career that would endure for decades, bridging the innocence of childhood roles with the complex, darker characters he would tackle in adulthood. Transition to adult roles and Broadway. As Roddy McDowall moved into his late teens, the challenge of shedding his child star image became increasingly pressing. In 1944 and 1945, films like The Keys of the Kingdom and Molly and Me demonstrated his growing range, allowing him to tackle emotionally complex roles, from orphaned youths to moody teenagers struggling with family expectations. These performances earned him acclaim, but they also cemented the public perception of him as the eternally youthful, sensitive boy, making the leap into adult characters a delicate balancing act. Despite this, Roddy maintained an unrelenting work ethic, understanding that his career survival depended on both talent and adaptability. By the mid-1950s, he had moved to New York, seeking opportunities on Broadway that could redefine his trajectory. The stage offered a new kind of discipline and scrutiny, far removed from the controlled environment of a film set. In 1957, he appeared in Compulsion, a play based on the notorious 1924 murder of Bobby Franks, portraying Arthur Strauss, a cold and calculating young man. This role marked a pivotal turning point in his career, showcasing his ability to inhabit darker, morally ambiguous characters. 2 years later, he earned a Supporting Actor Tony Award for his work in The Fighting Cock, a recognition that validated his transition from child prodigy to serious adult actor. During this period, McDowall continued to build connections with prominent figures in Hollywood, maintaining friendships with actors like Elizabeth Taylor while navigating the challenges of being openly closeted in a conservative industry. The dual pressures of professional ambition and personal secrecy weighed heavily on him, but Roddy's meticulous nature and careful management of his public image allowed him to survive the scrutiny of gossip magazines and studio expectations. His stage work also reinforced his versatility, preparing him for a return to the big screen with roles that demanded both emotional depth and technical skill. By the early 1960s, he was ready to confront Hollywood's adult acting landscape, taking parts in major films such as Cleopatra alongside Elizabeth Taylor, further solidifying his reputation as an actor capable of bridging genres, mediums, and decades. These formative years on stage and screen established Roddy McDowall not just as a survivor of child stardom, but as an artist with enduring influence, capable of navigating the complexity of both the craft and the industry. Planet of the Apes, sci-fi roles, and Hollywood challenges. By the mid-1960s, Roddy McDowall had firmly established himself as a versatile actor capable of handling both stage and screen with equal skill. Yet it was in 1968 that he would take on the role that defined a significant portion of his career: Cornelius in Planet of the Apes. The film, written by Rod Serling, required not only physical endurance under hours of complex prosthetic makeup, but also a nuanced performance that could convey intelligence, emotion, and moral depth through layers of latex and fur. McDowall embraced the role with meticulous preparation, understanding that the success of the film hinged as much on the believability of his character as on the groundbreaking sci-fi premise itself. His portrayal resonated with audiences and critics alike, transforming him from a familiar face into an iconic figure within popular culture. Following the film's success, McDowall reprised the role in Escape from the Planet of the Apes, demonstrating an ability to adapt the character to new contexts while maintaining its emotional core. He continued to work within the franchise, appearing in Conquest of the Planet of the Apes and Battle for the Planet of the Apes, before taking on the television adaptation in the mid-1970s as the character Galen. During this same decade, McDowall expanded his repertoire into television and genre films, taking on guest roles in Batman as the Bookworm, appearances in Hotel with Elizabeth Taylor, and episodes of The Twilight Zone and Night Gallery. He also explored fantasy and sci-fi roles in productions such as The Martian Chronicles, Bedknobs and Broomsticks, and The Black Hole, often blending voice acting with live performances. These projects allowed him to navigate a shifting industry landscape where typecasting was rampant, demonstrating a capacity to reinvent himself while maintaining a consistent standard of performance. However, McDowall's professional life was not without personal and legal challenges. His lifelong collection of films and television prints, amassed with the intent of preserving cinematic history and studying performance, drew the attention of the FBI in 1974. Agents raided his North Hollywood home, seizing over 1,000 tapes and 160 rare 16mm prints valued at over $5 million. While he was not charged and cooperated fully, the incident left a permanent mark, exposing the tension between his devotion to cinema and the rigid enforcement of copyright law. Amidst these pressures, he continued to balance demanding roles, private relationships, and a commitment to documenting Hollywood's hidden realities, a task few could appreciate or understand at the time: photography, private life, and Hollywood secrets. After the 1974 FBI raid, Roddy McDowall faced the difficult task of rebuilding trust and reclaiming his place in Hollywood. While the incident could have ended many careers, Roddy transformed the adversity into a renewed focus on his dual passions: acting and photography. His photographic work, which had begun in earnest during the 1960s, now took center stage, capturing intimate portraits of Hollywood's elite with an honesty that few photographers dared to achieve. Friends and colleagues, including Elizabeth Taylor, Judy Garland, and Paul Newman, entrusted him with moments they could not share publicly, knowing that McDowall's discretion was absolute. These sessions revealed the humanity behind the fame, the vulnerabilities, the exhaustion, and the private joys that gossip columns never recorded. Roddy's personal life remained largely private, shaped by the constraints of an industry that stigmatized homosexuality. His early relationship with Montgomery Clift had been a defining emotional experience, and although it ended, its impact lingered throughout his adult life. In an era when being openly gay could destroy a career, McDowall provided a sanctuary for friends who struggled with their own identities. His Malibu home became a haven for closeted actors, where laughter, conversation, and trust replaced the constant scrutiny of the public eye. Secret gatherings, filmed and photographed by Roddy, documented these private worlds without ever exposing them to the outside, preserving a record of Hollywood that would remain unseen for decades. Meanwhile, McDowall continued to accept acting roles, blending stage, television, and film. His performances in productions like Fright Night and voice roles in animated series allowed him to explore a wider range of characters, often reflecting the tension between public expectation and personal truth. He became known not only for his skill as an actor, but also for his ability to navigate the subtle politics of Hollywood while remaining loyal to those he cared about. His dual reputation, as both a performer and a trusted chronicler of his peers, grew quietly, shaping a legacy that was as much about protection and preservation as it was about fame. Through the late 1970s and early 1980s, McDowall's work behind the camera and in his personal archive became his greatest contribution to Hollywood history. His photographs, diaries, and private films documented moments that revealed the hidden pressures and struggles of the 1960s stars, offering a tragic, intimate view of an era often remembered only for its glamour. The weight of carrying these secrets, combined with his commitment to his craft, left him perpetually between public acclaim and private solitude, a position that defined both his achievements and the poignancy of his life story. Later, career, legacy, and final years. In the final decade of his life, Roddy McDowall continued to balance his acting career with his commitment to documenting Hollywood's hidden truths. While he took on fewer major film roles, his appearances remained memorable, often in projects that allowed him to explore the nuanced characters he had long mastered. He reprised voice work for animated series, lending his distinctive tone to projects that reached younger audiences, and appeared in cult favorites like Fright Night, where his portrayal of Peter Vincent reflected a man confronting both public scrutiny and private fear. These roles, layered with irony and self-awareness, mirrored McDowall's own experience navigating the pressures of Hollywood while protecting the identities of his peers. Parallel to his acting, McDowall devoted considerable energy to photography and archiving. His books, including Double Exposure Take 2, and Double Exposure Take 4, captured decades of private, intimate portraits of stars such as Judy Garland, Elizabeth Taylor, and Paul Newman. Each image told a story of vulnerability, struggle, and the unseen cost of fame. Roddy's careful curation ensured that no harm came to those he photographed. His work was an act of loyalty as much as art, preserving moments of truth in a world obsessed with illusion. This dedication to secrecy also extended to his home video archives, documenting private gatherings, candid interactions, and behind-the-scenes moments that the public would never witness. His collections were so meticulously maintained that even after his death, they became a treasure trove for historians and researchers seeking an unfiltered look at Hollywood's past. Roddy McDowall passed away from lung cancer on October 3, 1998, at his home in Studio City, California, at the age of 70. 4 days later, his ashes were scattered into the Pacific Ocean, a final act of quiet reflection that mirrored his lifelong commitment to discretion and loyalty. Though he left no immediate heirs, his artistic legacy, both on screen and behind the camera, remains profound. The archives he maintained, the friendships he protected, and the truths he preserved offer a window into a Hollywood that was rarely seen by the public eye, a world of glamour shadowed by fear, secrecy, and the relentless passage of time. The hidden archive and its lasting impact. Even after Roddy McDowall's death in 1998, the true breadth of his contribution to Hollywood history remained largely hidden. For decades, his personal archives, home movies, 16mm prints, private photographs, and diaries were carefully safeguarded, documenting the lives of stars in ways no official record ever could. These collections captured candid moments of Elizabeth Taylor, Judy Garland, Rock Hudson, and Montgomery Clift, showing both vulnerability and resilience behind the public facade. The footage revealed parties, private conversations, and quiet interactions that the world would otherwise never see, preserving the human side of Hollywood's golden era. McDowall's archives were not mere curiosities, they were a conscious effort to protect the legacies of his friends. He understood the danger that gossip and scandal could pose, particularly for LGBT actors living under constant scrutiny. By keeping detailed records of events, interactions, and relationships, Roddy created a time capsule of trust. Scholars and historians now regard his collection as invaluable, offering insights into the pressures of fame, the realities of closeted life in the industry, and the personal sacrifices required to maintain both professional and private integrity. The diaries included in his archive reportedly document everything from his own struggles with identity and heartbreak to the secret battles and personal crises of his peers. While the materials remain sealed until 2098, legal experts and those close to Roddy speculate that they contain revelations about the lives and relationships of some of Hollywood's most celebrated figures. The collection underscores his enduring role as a guardian of truth, a man who witnessed triumph and tragedy alike and ensured that the stories behind the glamour would not be lost. Roddy McDowall devoted his life to capturing what others could not, keeping secrets safe while creating unforgettable performances. Which hidden moment from Hollywood history would you most want to see through his archive? Comment below and share your thoughts. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories from behind the scenes of Hollywood's golden era.